You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This game has a chance to be a pretty fun matchup, if we're going to be honest. If you talk to people all the time, they talk about styles, make fights. When they're talking about boxing, the two people that stylistically are different can be the best games from time to time. And as Vinny Hardy and Lance Dawes said yesterday on the thing, the team that usually wants to play it slow is usually going to get their way. And the number of possessions in a football game, I think it's 11 or 12 at a normal full speed, both teams going all out type deal. I think it's about 8 or 9 playing against the Kentucky Wildcats, and they want it to be about 7 if we're going to be honest. They're going to go slow. They're going to snap the ball with 1 or 2 seconds on the clock. It's going to be ridiculous. So it's going to be paramount for Ole Miss to get first downs. Avoid the rock fight. Move the clock, go down and score a touchdown. If you get up by 2 scores, you can pretty easily get up by 4 scores at that point. If it stays between 1 score, you can give up a play and end up finding yourself losing the game. I mean, we've all seen how that plays out. So that is my 30,000-foot view of this game. Now, 3 players to watch in this game for Ole Miss. I think Austin Simmons in his first road SEC start against Mark Stoops. It's going to be imperative that Lane Kiffin kind of takes care of him, of what can go on. Number 2 is Kewan Lacy. There needs to be a run game for Ole Miss in this week. And if you can make that happen, it's going to make the chains move easier. It's not going to be so much of a rock fight. The more fluid it can get in the ball game, that is a win for Ole Miss, and you do that by running the ball. Remember, the front 7 for Kentucky's defense is probably the weak point. So Kewan Lacy and Ole Miss's offensive line, this is a chance. I know that the narrative that was established around Ole Miss football is the offensive line really struggled against Georgia State. I don't think they did. But if you bully Kentucky a little bit and you win this game by 14 to 17 points going into the Arkansas game next week, I think you would feel pretty good moving forward, if we're going to be honest. But Kewan Lacy has a chance to be a stud in this game. And I think Logan Diggs has a role to play as well. Damian Taylor is good, but all 3 of the running backs played well. And that's something that didn't happen a year ago, honestly. And the other one is Suntarine Perkins, the do-everything player on defense for Ole Miss. He plays end. He plays a little bit of linebacker. They stand him up. They put him on the line of scrimmage, all of that stuff. They were pretty vanilla with him against the Georgia State Panthers. Pete Golding, I think, is going to open his defense a little bit, and you'll get to see Suntarine Perkins kind of be Suntarine Perkins for the first time. That should be interesting. Now, this game, I think it's going to be a little bit of a rock fight. I do. Mark Stoops is just too good at doing this for me to say, hey, it's going to be 51-3 or 63-7. It might actually happen. Ole Miss has the offense and the ability to do that, but I just can't see that. So when it comes to this prediction, I spend all week looking over where I'm going to go, talking to absolutely everybody, and kind of coming up with a prediction. And this is the one prediction on the site that I kind of want to be right. I want to be right near it. And you can see my numbers, it's pretty close one way or another, genuinely. In this game, I got Ole Miss winning 24-10 in Lexington. I think it is going to be a little bit of a rock fight. I think there's going to be a turnover that happens either through Kewan Lacy or Austin Simmons, or a turnover on downs, and a couple of possessions are going to get taken away from Ole Miss, and that's the difference from a 31-10 or a 38-10, something like that. I don't have a lot of faith in Kentucky's offense as well. So we'll see how it looks. Now, the prop bets in this game that you need to look at, I think Suntarine Perkins is going to have a sack in this game. I think Austin Simmons is going to have 300 yards and 3 touchdowns again. I think all of the touchdowns are going to be passing touchdowns, and at least one is going to be an explosive pass. I think that's absolutely going to happen. I think Kewan Lacy, again, is going to go over 100 yards, but they're going to bow up in the red zone. And somebody like Caleb Odom and Daquan Wright, they're going to be weapons like we all expect them to be in the red zone. And I think Xavon Harris is going to be a force in the middle of the field. And you saw against Georgia State, he's like, okay, let's move 2 over there. Okay, let's move 3 over there to try to get this guy blocked. The double team factor of the defensive line is something to watch for. Remember, in the 2024 Ole Miss Kentucky game, Ole Miss could not run the ball at all. They could only move the ball to Trey Harris, who had 11 catches for 174 yards out of 250 yards passing. Ole Miss finished with like 89 or 90 yards rushing in that game. So it was about 320 yards in totality. Ole Miss has to have a variable attack. You can't fall into the trap that Mark Stoops is setting out for you. If you avoid all of these things, you're going to win this game going away because you have a better football team than the Kentucky Wildcats. So thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your go-to source for Ole Miss sports. We pride ourselves on offering the most comprehensive perspectives, which is why we're the front door of Ole Miss. Check us out on Google. Just Google Ole Miss podcast and see how many of us come up. We're about 80% of that page, so don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It helps the show, and it is completely free. Your support means the world to us. And another big moment for Locked On college football fans, Locked On and Fire TV presents College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation along two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football kickoff preview only Locked On can do. Catch college football kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Hotty toddy, everybody. Remember, post-game, we'll have that reaction and the reaction roundtable. The SEC wide reaction will be Sunday. That was a big hit last week. So we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody.